Thanks for clarifying.
You're welcome.
Alright guys, so underway in our round 4 feature match of the last round of Swiss. This is a win and in. On the left we've got Scotty Wright. He's playing Esper Control. It's what you would expect out of this deck, though I think it does shift into the Brimaz Angel of Thune sideboard plan, correct? Garrett's deck, we've seen both of the last 2 rounds because of the way the pairings have worked out, but he is playing an American Control deck, splashing red for Mizzy, Mortis, Turn and Burn, and Ral Zarek, along with Karanos.
Nimbus.
His Nimbus in the sideboard. That's his anti-control plan. Garrett likes to be cute. Garrett likes to be cute, and it's also fun. He also does hook people sometimes when they take out their whole removal magic, and he just slams this like giant card advantage engine that they can't deal with. Well, and here's the beauty of the control mirror, which is that everyone is just playing their lands and passing the turn back. We'll see if Garrett switches to his Niv Mizzet plan in games 2. Well, Scotty also, and Scotty also will switch to his
all verdicts out.
Yep.
Angels versus dragons.
Question in the chat: how many people are here? I think there's only 16 people playing FNM tonight because we did have a split FNM. There were some conspiracy drafts that fired as well because that set did release today. So Garrett shocking himself here with the steam vents. Both players doing damage only to themselves with their lands. Now the first real action of the game. A thought seized from Garrett. This will likely start a counter magic war. Garrett,
I think he gets 2 dissolves.
Garrett does shuffle a dissolve to the front of his hand. He is going to dissolve it. Let's see if Scotty decides to fight back.
Oh, not scared of counterflux, I guess.
Nope, Scotty decides not to. Garrett scries on top. That can't be, that can't make Scotty feel good. But of course Garrett with my least favorite mechanical play in Magic, which is the Miracled Land off the top, so as to tell them exactly what you're drawing. It's a very minor thing, but it does drive me nuts. Question in the chat: anybody playing mono red? I don't believe there was any burn decks in the field tonight.
You count Troy.
Troy's playing red green devotion. George Arbogast usually does that, but he did not play tonight. So Sphinx's Rev is going to meet Syncopate end of turn. So Garrett untaps an attempt to Jace here. Scotty has a dissolve in hand, but we also know that Garrett has another dissolve, right?
I think he does, yeah.
I know people, especially I don't know, I know people like to lament the control mirrors, but there's a lot of magic to be played in these mirrors, as we see a D-Sphere chosen over a verdict and another card I did not see.
Mortars.
Mizzy Mortars, which is comparably irrelevant in this matchup as well. Mortars is basically good for clearing out Elspeth Soldier tokens at a point where you can only prolong a game that you've probably already lost. So there's a Banishing Light, going to take out the Jace. So both players still struggling to land anything. There is a D-Sphere. Now we see the interesting interaction between various O-ring effects.
He had that one D-Sphere that Scotty knew about.
Yes, he forgot.
Another one.
He forgot about it.
Okay.
That's the problem with being polite and leaving your cards up there so people can see them. So the split from a Jace -2 here, the Jace coming back from under the Banishing Light. Take the land and the other land. Scry card to the bottom off the Temple of... What is the Boros Temple? I can never remember.
Triumph.
Temple of Triumph. So Garrett showing the power of the Scry lands, burning through his deck here, taking Jace up and just passing the turn back. End of turn, Scotty's going to rev for 3, leaving up Dissolve. So Garrett should know that he can only fight over this if he has 2 counter spells. And he does not at all, so drawing 3 cards looks like a Hero's Downfall, Dissolve, and an unknown card off the rev. So here's the Thought Seize. That's going to get dissolved. Does Scotty want to fight back? He has 2 dissolves of his own. But at some point, is it worth fighting over the Thought Seize and not just fighting over the card in Garrett's hand?
He has a limited amount of counter spells in his deck, and you have to save some for that usually in battle.
Yes, the card that matters here, or there's multiple cards that matter here. Elspeth matters a lot, and Aetherling matters the most. So here's Downfall, takes out a Jace Architect of Thought. Scotty was just going to play a Temple of Enlightenment. Garrett moving to his draw step a little bit prematurely there, but all things squared away. So Garrett now looks to rebuild. Both players with no permanents short of Garrett's D-Sphere, which has a Banishing Light under it, which if it comes back into play, cannot target anything. So we're going for it. Here is an Elspeth. We know that's going to be met with a dissolve. Garrett does not even have another counterspell. He's just running it out naked. Plays a Hollowed Fountain tap and just passes the turn back, it looks like. So, Garrett running out of business. So Scotty probably has a chance. Oh no, he just passes the turn back. Scotty had a chance there to resolve his Aetherling if he wanted to, because he has a dissolve backup, but just not finding the threat. Question in the chat: do they side in Notion Thief? I don't know. Probably not. We have seen some Notion Thief shenanigans before. You have fallen victim to Notion, or was it Scotty?
Oh, I have before, yeah. Scotty got Notion Thief by Adam.
Yes.
When he was wearing his fancy watch. He sent him that
I did.
text message.
I did. Adam Vickers has a watch that receives text messages, so I sent him one. I believe the text said all notions got thiefed.
Yeah.
He liked it very much. Yeah, it is interesting that the in this matchup, a real trump is Garrett's access to counterflux.
I don't think it's as much as a trump as Thought Seize.
Well, it just depends. It's basically no, they're very comparable actually. You're right. Scotty's Thought Seize basically answers every threat in Garrett's deck, and defensively, Garrett's counterflux is a trump in that regard.
He's got to resolve this stuff sometime.
Yep. There's a D-Sphere. It's going to take out the Ralzeric that I hadn't noticed had made an appearance, because I am very bad at what I do. So still digging for win conditions. There is a Banishing Light. Garrett very fortunate to draw the specific O-ring effects he draws when he's drawn them, because if he drew them in different order, they wouldn't interact like this. Ralzeric comes back into play. Ticks up, untapping a Hallowed Fountain.
That card's hilarious.
And then he's going to exile Ralzeric again, right?
I hope.
Scotty has to deal with it, but he didn't have to deal with it right away.
He has an Elspeth in his hand. Scotty just looking for the right chance to resolve it. Oh, there it is. Couldn't find my Legacy Delver deck. I wanted to make sure it wasn't laying on a table out there somewhere. So there's an Elspeth. Does it just resolve without any fight?
Yep.
Interesting. Now Scotty can leave his counter magic up to fight over the inevitable removal spell. He's going to go ahead and make 3 tokens. Now the Ralzeric can effectively kill Elspeth.
This is a -3.
It's -2?
-2.
Yeah, so he can double bolt it before Elspeth can get out of range.
Tokens do kill him, but
Yes.
he can deal with that.
There's a D-Sphere. That's likely going... Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to declare targets. We know that's going to mean at least 1 dissolve.
Please don't stick an Aetherling.
And that's going to be good enough. So Scotty tapped very low here. He is, however, at the point where does Scotty play Syncopate?
I think.
We saw one earlier, yeah. Odd, so.
Yeah.
Because even a Syncopate would be probably good here if Garrett did try to resolve an Aetherling, because it would tap Garrett down to just 1 blue, so 2 removal spells could kill it.
He would have 2.
Well, if he Syncopates for 1, then he would have
Right.
to.
5. No, you're right.
There's a Karanos, which is very strong in this matchup, actually. That's going to stick. Let's go ahead and bolt. What?
It would just die to the soldiers. But, I don't know.
Like, is this better?
I don't know how to correctly play with Rouser.
No one does. The chat screaming mightily for a Rouser ultimate to see five extra turns. And as one should expect, the chat has devolved into a discussion of how Control shouldn't be played because Control is not the personal preference of that specific commenter. So of course we shouldn't be allowed to do whatever we want. We should only play the decks that they like. What did the Last Breath hit? The Mutavault? Yeah, so Last Breath takes out the Mutavault, puts Garrett up to 22, but more importantly clears out the blocker.
Rouser is at 4 devotion right now. No, it's not. He has a...
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He has 5, yeah. Karanos is at 5. Reveal a land off of the Karanos trigger, so Garrett effectively draws an extra card. Play a Temple of Enlightenment, leave that on top. So see some synergy there between the Karanos and the Scry lands.
That's what gets me.
What?
Burn. Burn is boring to watch. To me it is. It depends on the matchup, but...
Every deck is, in some ways, boring to some subset of the Magic playing community. Well, here's the point we've decided. We've chosen the Aetherling portion of the game. Scotty says it resolves. Thumbs up from him. He has 2 verdicts and a Last Breath in his hand. Kronos is now active. Serves in an Elspeth. We chump with a token. Scotty's going to have to deal with that Aetherling the hard way by just trying to race it. So now we're ticking Ralzeric down.
So you can defend him now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, he's still dead. Unless he has a removal spell. Well, no, he is. I was just looking at those 2 tokens he still has.
He's just keeping him honest at this point, I think. There's really no advantage to ticking him up, and he has the loyalty to be able to take 3 counters off
Elspeth. I think
Elspeth.
what it was is he was dead to an attack from all the soldiers anyway, so why not heal? Elspeth 3 damage.
So is this everything at Ralzeric? 3 at Ralzeric and 2 at Garrett. So no blocks, let Ralzeric die. Aetherling picks off one of the tokens coming at Garrett, so he goes down to 21. Scotty ticks up Elspeth, reloads on 3 more soldiers. His hand is negate, 2 supreme verdicts, and a Last Breath.
Negate?
It looked like a negate. Let's dissolve, sorry.
Yeah.
I guess he would be playing negate main deck, but... So dissolve revealed off the top. Garrett knew that card was there because he left it on top with that Temple of Enlightenment scry. So Garrett's got a thinker here. You have to kill Elspeth here? I don't even think you care. You just go after Scotty, right? It's a 3-turn clock?
Yeah.
6 mana for overloaded Miziamors. That's going to mean a dissolve.
I mean...
It has to. There's no other way you can win the game.
Oh. Dissolve. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Tokens can raise.
Scotty leaves the land on top. We make our Aetherling unblockable. Yeah, Karanos is no longer active.
So live the dream.
Yes, he did get him active, but Aetherling unblockable comes in, finishes off Elspeth, but a dissolve keeps the tokens around. So 7 tokens. Scotty draws a rev. Scotty, no. Soldiers all serve in.
He's holding up 5 mana for something. The next
Is it charm to loot?
No, the mutable. And Scotty's gonna last breath.
Well, might as well.
No, I mean, that's perfectly fine, because it
Last breath is basically
Garrett's
dead.
clock.
Yeah. So Scotty is holding a rev. Do not know the contents of Garrett's hand. We know there's a rev now. Off the Kara's trigger, something gets 3 damage.
Oh, he's thinking about doing it to his soldier. That's great.
Nah, you just do it to Scotty, don't you?
I mean, like, there's arguments. You have to do that first.
You definitely consider it. It's not a snap.
I just think it's funny that 3 damage would be going to one of Scotty's 7 soldiers.
So the Aetherling serves in again. No pumps there. Looks like Scotty's at 21. The RPG players are going nuts out there for something. Rev during upkeep. Rev during upkeep. In response, rev myself, which I think that's fine play. Now, is he going to leave up counterspell magic?
I don't know.
What is he hoping to draw is the question.
Oh, counterspell would be good for this.
Well, we'll leave up 6 mana. He's trying to...
His own 8th. You can't leave a mana for your 8th. I think he's playing around Syncopate.
Oh, that's so brutal.
That's really good.
Dissolve, stay on top. We're going to draw that card. The rev ends up being for 4?
Looks like 5.
Yep, it is 5, so Garrett goes up to 19, more importantly. Draws 5 cards, gets the Sphinx's rev out of Scotty's hand. Scotty draws for his turn. It's another verdict. Serves in for 7. Knocks,
Oh, this Aetherling is naked. Garrett.
Oh, did he tap out for it?
Yeah, he tapped out. I just realized that. Yeah, I do that all day.
Of course. So Scotty has stabilized, but he is staring down a Kronos, a Jace. That's not a hard one. That's the easiest split.
He's gonna slam that.
Yeah.
So Scotty has another Supreme Verdict in his hand, is that right?
Yes.
That's why Elspeth isn't that scary. I mean, you have to leave her around. You have to get her up to 8 before you can ultimate her. Because if you don't, then you just buried away all the tokens. She's not too good in the mirror.
I was so amazed at the fact that he had the counterspell for the
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
rev. But like, do you consider the alternative? Do you let his rev resolve? Neither situation is great.
He didn't have to cast his own rev. Like, I mean, I get he was in a racing position, but you're clinging to that Aetherling to win. I wouldn't risk being tapped out.
I mean, Aetherling when it's on board is like arguably the best card in Standard.
Yeah, on the board.
I don't know about what about Garrett Relentless Soldier Token? It's pretty strong too. Scary. Is it charm revealed off Kronos trigger? Just go ahead and bolt Scotty directly. Serve him for 3 more. Drop Scotty down to 15. He's slowly falling behind you.
His hand was at a watery grave.
It's a water grave and a verdict. Like, I don't think Scotty's done anything incorrect. I think it's just the way the cards have broken. You know, Garrett resolved a rev and Scotty didn't, and that's basically the difference in this game. Jace's going to tick down, reveal replacement Jace for 2 lands. I think Garrett's going to take the Jace. You could theoretically play the Jace again and just draw more cards if you wanted to. So there's a Jace from Scotty. Let's see if this sticks. I mean, these guys might be out of counter magic by this point. Here's an interesting point from the chat that, in retrospect, if Garrett was going to dissolve, he probably could have afforded to rev for 4, leave the 1 mana up. I think it's just something in retrospect that seems quite obvious, but at the time, So Garrett with an abundance of riches here. He's assembled the Super Friends and Jason Elspeth. Turn and burn. Just
To the face.
no, going to Jace. Make some more Garrett. Reveal Sacred Foundry off of the Chronos trigger. Serve in for 6. Drop Scotty to 6. Now he's going to activate Immune try to eat one. It's going to get Is It Charmed.
You knew about that.
Yeah, still got to get him to do it. Tick up, tick up. Represent lethal. We know there's a supreme verdict. It can't be countered. Mind Break Trap is not legal in this format.
So how many tokens does he have?
9.
He does have the full 9?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're not better.
There is the verdict, so that's going to buy him a turn.
What was...
Chronos revealing an island. Chronos seems so good in this mirror. If it sticks. I mean, how many cards has he drawn off of it? Like 4. It's bolted a million things.
I'm not a big fan of tapping 5 and doing nothing for a turn. But yeah, if it sticks, cast the D-sphere. It's not bad.
I mean, he's only playing 1, so there's not a lot of opportunity costs for playing it. Looks like Scotty draws another land here. He's still fighting the good fight here. Shoves a card to the bottom. He's dead on board.
Yeah, this game's over.
Game 1 took 30 minutes.
Did it really?
Yep.
Well, second and third game goes faster.
It took 25 minutes, I stand corrected. 45-minute rounds.
I mean, if they do draw, then they're both getting in too, so...
Alright, so game 2 underway. Scotty Wright coming up on the short end of the control mirror in game 1 as Garrett Meadows rode card advantage of Sphinx's Revelation and Chronos to the win. Both players content to play draw go here for a while, utilizing Scrylands to set up their impending draws. Balzari63 in the chat joining us saying hello. Well, hello to you as well. Thanks for stopping in. Turn 3 Night Veil Spectre. So Scotty just sideboards into all the creatures, right?
Well, he doesn't have Brimaz, but he has 3 Spectres. And
You
2
have
Angels.
Brimaz. That's the one I saw earlier. So he's got 3 Spectres and 2 Archangel of Thune. He just draws a Rev. What is it? It's an Is It Charm. That's not going to be castable until Scotty steals a Steam Vents, but still fun. Did Scotty just miss a land drop?
Doesn't matter. It's got a Night Veil Spectre. Yeah, looks like he did.
But Garrett's got to have some removal still in his deck, doesn't it? He's
No.
got, well, he may have Is It Charm, but Is It Charm's not any good.
I don't think he has. Okay.
Oh.
It's a turnip, right?
Yeah.
His one removal from probably.
So it'll be interesting to see if this Night Veil Spectre goes all the way here. Both these decks have a transformative sideboard plan in the control mirror. It's pretty commonplace to remove most of your removal, especially your sweepers. But both decks have the ability to bring in more creatures, and creatures that are hard to deal with. Archangel of Thune can win the game by itself, and Night Veil Spectre, like we're seeing, capable of getting some severe card advantage. Not turning out to be that way just yet, but meanwhile Garrett's like, I'm just going to run out this sideboarded Jace Memory Adept. That's going to meet a negate, but Garrett obviously doesn't have anything worth leaving the mana up for. And I think Scotty just drew a Dissolve. There's a Temple of Epiphany. Now the game gets very interesting. Temple leaving a card on top. That's got to be heartbreaking for Garrett. Scotty just drew a Dissolve, so
He can get some loot, no downside.
There's-
Not waste a card.
there's a Jace. Do you let the Jace live? That's the question. There's an argument to be said for just letting it stick. And Scotty agrees, so we're going to draw some cards here. Replacement Jace, Temple, and Is It Charm. It's Replacement Jace versus Charm and land. Garrett goes charm and land. Content to let the Jace die, I guess. So we're going to kill the Jace. We don't get to draw a card, but Scotty doesn't carry. Wants the Planeswalker off the board. Shocks himself down to 18 with the Hallowed Fountain. This game playing out way differently than game one because now these decks have creatures.
Eric takes care of it. But he knows he has. What are you waiting for? Yeah. And then you just hit a charm right back.
Mm-hmm. So what was the exact sequence there?
I think Garrett threw away. Well, no, he didn't.
He played Ralzeric, dissolve, negate. Is it charm back?
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Mute Vault. Nightveil Spectre's just gonna go the distance, right?
Very good.
Oh, of course it's Elspeth.
Let's see. Let's get over.
Yeah. It was kind of over when we hit the red land off the Nightveil Spectre.
Garrett does have a Faded Retribution in his sideboard. I don't know if he brings it in or not. No, never mind. That's a good question. Never mind.
So Garrett drops game 2. He could not deal with an on-curve Nightveil Spectre, and that was enough for Scotty to go the distance. Elspeth did show up at some point, but the game was almost over by that point anyway. So we'll see which one of these guys can get it done. Here's a Duress from Scotty, revealing Turnenberg, Sphinx's Rev, Counterflux, Banishing Light, Memory Adept, and Ralzeric.
I don't like this key.
You don't?
No.
Because he can't cast anything.
Lands. 2 lands missing a color on play.
Yeah. So, Counterflux is the answer. I like it.
Okay. No, it's fine.
Scotty scries, leaves a card on top, and then passes back. Garrett, as he is known to do, will leave those cards, the known cards, exposed. There's a Temple of Enlightenment, probably the best card he could have drawn at that point. Well, Epiphany would have been literally the best card he could have drawn, but still pretty good. Doesn't miss a land drop and gets a scry card away to the bottom. Is Spectre coming? No, it is not. Our hand is all counter magic and Mutavault. Garrett finds a 4th land, so he's living the dream here. No red mana, so no Ralzeric. Scotty's hand is literally 4 counter spells and 3 lands. But he decides to land a Jace when he can. Dissolve and banish. Of course you do. I mean, it's not like Garrett knows what his thing is, but it's a perfect situation for Scotty there. So he knows more than likely that this...
See, that's strange.
See,
I guess he has a Banishing Light to take care of the Banishing Light, but this is his turn if he draws a land to stick the Jace.
Yeah, but he has the Banishing Light.
Yeah, yeah.
And he has unlimited counter magic. Like, he can play 5th land, O-Ring, leave negate up.
That's true.
Scotty's in fine position here. Question in the chat, why would he leave those cards exposed? Well, because it's FNM, and because those are known cards, and Scotty can get out a piece of paper and write them down, or Garrett can just leave them up, because again, it's FNM. So there is the 5th land. Garrett shocks himself down to 18 so he can play Memory Adept. The exact sequence that we described is going to play out now.
It's the one of the spell that you don't have to play around anymore. Well, some lists have been playing too.
Oh, did we dispel the Rev? What?
No, he milled Scotty 1 and
okay. So Scotty has the 5th... See, this is interesting. Scotty has the 5th land, but it comes into play tapped. So my line is not available. We can D-Sphere here. Oh, he has Here's Downfall as well, but not the 2nd black to cast it. So there's the Vanishing Light.
Okay. Plus Jason pass.
Might as well. If you're going to minus Jace, you should have done it before you played your land, right?
No, he's not going to throw away Jace necessarily. He's given him a choice here. Of course he's going to take his Jace back, but...
Yes.
What?
this is way wrong. Scotty's splitting it for himself. Aetherling versus a Temple of Deceit and a Hallowed Fountain. The piles are clear, but the question is, do you take the lands or do you take the Aetherling?
Is he just gonna completely bluff him and take the second black source?
But like, I mean, I know it's like a somewhat marginal thing, but why would you ever do this without playing the...
I think he could change his plan. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, if you change your mind midstream, that explains everything as expected. O-ring on O-ring action. Jace comes back, mill and draw, hitting a thought. Is that foil Thoughtseize?
Yes.
Baller time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Garrett passes back with the 2 mana up. Let's see what Scotty does here. Did he take the Aetherling?
Yeah, I assume so.
Here's another Jace. -2. A Jace or 2 Watery Graves?
He's taking the Watery Graves.
Yes, of course he is. Because we know he needs that double black so that he can Hero's Downfall that Jace. Shocks himself, which represents negate pretty obviously, or syncopate for 1, either way.
But the loser still getting it?
I don't know. Question in the chat about when I'm going to put up more EDH deck techs. I don't know. I've said I'll do one of those soon, and that was starting about a year ago. But all my equipment is at the shop, so I never take it home.
So you just leave it here now?
Yeah, because I can lock the door.
Mm-hmm.
Saves me so much hassle. Yeah, but I
Most
think
people can.
JB would notice if some dude was trying to climb over the wall.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to place here. I didn't notice that Garrett has been missing land drops here. He still has no red mana to cast that Rouse Eric that was revealed off of the early Thoughtseize. Now we know, because we have access to Scotty's hand, that he can Hero's Downfall, and he can back it up with counter magic.
Guess that's the play. You might be debating just running out Aetherling.
That can't be right. Tick Jace up. Play a land, get a little bit more info. Leave that card on top. Tap it with your finger, which is a sign of strength.
Pass.
Just pass. So he's gonna fight this fight in turn. The mill nets planes. Why would you let him draw the card? Wouldn't you do it during the upkeep, if anything?
I don't know yet in the store now.
He has changed his mind midstream already, so there's a chance he doesn't even know what his
He's probably just
Question
being
in the-
extra careful and leaving up.
question in the chat. What is in the glare? That is a Jace Architect of Thought.
There he is. You do that on the upkeep.
So that just resolves. What happened to Turner Burn?
I have no idea.
Oh, he discarded the hand size. So Jace, tick. Oh, Duress, Rev, Jace. Wow.
Duress.
What does he
I
want?
think he's just
Is he bluffing him?
playing tricks on him. Yeah.
Like
Maybe, I don't know.
I really don't want you to duress this
He has
Elspeth in
7
my hand.
cards. No, don't take it.
Scotty's fully capable of getting hooked, though. Okay, he didn't.
There we go.
You know your brother
He
well
is
enough to
better.
know he's capable of
He
outthinking
is.
himself.
He is. So am I.
Yes, we have the most
I
legendary.
killed myself from.
Yeah.
Awful.
Brandon Gibbs gets to play in the Invitational next week because of that exact scenario.
Yeah.
That was a very convoluted situation.
Uh,
That's a little inside joke. Well, not an inside joke, but you have to be very familiar with the history of our stream to know what we're talking about there. Doesn't
Garrett still doesn't have red.
yeah.
Sorry.
So Rev for 2. There's a dissolve. Dissolve, leave it on top. I like the way Scotty taps the top of his deck.
That's why you don't plus out add up. Okay. So you're just gonna
Oh,
Amazing.
I couldn't disagree more with people. Are they saying that he should have been zeroing
Yeah.
Jace? I mean, it's very situational. Like
It's,
if you cast Jace and then zero him and then it gets dealt with immediately, what did the Jace accomplish other than
exactly.
fog and time walking
You'd rather
yourself?
draw a card and try to protect them so you can get to that point where you can just melt them.
Yes. Just treat Jace like Elspeth. You don't win the game until you ultimate it. There's a dissolve to answer Jace from Garrett. We've known Scotty's had all this counter magic in his hand forever. There is a red source. Finally, a
Well, he
temple.
has one on board, right?
No, he does not.
Yeah, he has a temple drive that he's scrying with right now. So.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's the
Oh, I thought you said there was one on top of his library.
no.
Okay.
He's finally found a red source.
Base
Zero,
rev.
zeroing Jace would have just left Scotty with like 20 cards in his library when he won the game. I think that's the most common, one of the most common misplays is playing Jason. I mean, we've seen it on the stream from a lot of the more casual guys. They run out of Jason, immediately zero, and then the Jace gets D-sphered, and they can never get rid of the D-sphere, and then what's that Jace accomplish? Especially in these decks that are playing like 6 D-sphere effects. And Scotty's playing Hero's Downfall.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
You just draw the cards, and if you get them to draw 20 at some point or whatever, like...
And if he happens to live, then you win. It's much better than just...
Ralzeric showing up. What you got, Scott?
Everything.
He has every magic. He has another dissolve in his hand. But he's gonna let this one. He's gonna let this one stick. Uh
That
oh.
was a close one. Decent.
So Deicide takes out the D-sphere, which brings back the Banishing Light, which takes out the Ralzeric, right? Chase ticking down. Night Veil or 2 D-spheres? Night Veil, so there's a win condition for Scotty. Garrett's at 15. Here is the Night Veil. Scrying with the Temple of Silence. Scotty has found his Aetherling.
He's had that for a while.
Oh, you're right. He has had that for a
I
while.
would just be... I don't think he knows that he's about to run out of time. Turn and burn.
Upkeep, turn and burn on the Night Veil Spectre. That's going to meet a dissolve. Garrett's going to dissolve back.
Did he? Run the Aetherling out.
Oh, he didn't dissolve back. I apologize. So attack
Does he
him.
have one?
Question in the chat: who gets in the top 8 if they draw? They might.
Both.
They might both get in. I think this is. There's a chance that this game doesn't necessarily need to be played. Garrett just wants to play Magic. That's the reason they're playing.
Yeah. And it's for...
Seeding and whatnot.
I don't appreciate that.
Huh?
It's something to watch.
Yeah, and also for those of you counting turns in the chat, remember that, as I like to joke with Adam Vickers, our clock is for entertainment purposes only, as real time is being kept outside by the judge. So D-Sphere targeting Elspeth. Garrett inadvertently removing his soldier tokens. Those were not targeted. There's the Temple of Enlightenment. Scotty getting a lot of value off of this temple. Or getting a lot of value off this Night Veil Spectre this go around. And there's an Archangel, so clock fully assembled here. Yeah, this is actually lethal. Does Scotty have a Sphinx's Rev? Because I think this is lethal. Oh no, because of the blockers, but if he gained life, it would be exactly enough. There's a Niv Mizzet. The Garrett sideboarded a creature spell. No red mana up to activate it though, but there's a big old brick wall now. Scotty draws a Plains for the turn. He has an Elspeth in his hand. That's pretty good, because you can -4 it. Get rid of the Niv Mizzet. Here's a Sphinx's Rev. Scotty's going to be careful as he is close to milling himself. There's an Elspeth. Does it resolve?
Just gonna minus.
Yeah. Yeah, to get rid of the Niv Mizzet. There's a dissolve. If you're Scotty, you fight over it, right? If you can. He does not.
Oh, doesn't matter.
He has another one.
He has 3, so...
So Scotty is tapped out now, but he's going to minus. The Niv Mizzet gets removed. Now we can get in with our flyers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Net a Sacred Foundry. Go up to 27. All your creatures get bigger. Garrett is dead on board. Needs one verdict here. Even that's not going to be good enough. Like, because Scotty's at 27. Like,
yeah, the Elspeth's just gonna take over. He needs a lot of cards.
he's planar cleansing, and he can't find it. So Scotty eventually gets there.
Almost positive, but they should get draw.